All right, I have been waiting a year to make this video. A year ago, I posted my first video on AI art. It had been building a while because even before Midjourney, there was like this big push in photo applications to add AI, and it was AI retouching and things like that. And, I thought it was an important topic. But I have been waiting a year to look at, to really see if my reactions and gut sense were on target for the future of AI and what was going on, and was I right? Was I right about AI? All right, let's react to this video. Well, I'm going to react to it. Here we go. All right. One of the other things I get to react to is how my video production or my YouTube production has either improved or declined over the past year. All right, so let's get into our video here. And it was called, what was the name of the AI takeover is what I called it. And it was released November 4th. So it would be a year ago this week. Let's see what I was yapping on about. All right. I look older there than I do now.
Kind of had a slow roll getting in here, but it's really gotten some legs in the last few months.
My lighting could have improved. All right. So this right here, so there's got a tarot, but this has nothing to do with photography. This is still talking about photography. And my channel was all photography before this. You should check that stuff out. Nozzle cores for my tires out here on. This reminds me that they need to replace my nozzle cores to drive across the sand, and these nozzles wear out. Do I need to do another video on my nozzle cores? As a landscape photographer, I have done a lot of traveling, going to a lot of locations, finding dramatic landscapes. What I'm getting at today is AI, artificial intelligence. This technology has been creeping in for quite a while for us, retouching and processing our photos. But things have changed. We have AI now that is generating imagery. Oh, dramatic. I love that image. I love that. I still love my skull emotion. It's conveying storytelling, and it's creating images that are at the most epic, decisive moments you could imagine. This is here. It's not coming. It's the future is here. So, all right. But funny how those old Midjourneys look. Here we go. A little different than me sitting behind the computers and talking how my stuff. First off, I started using this, and at first it's addictive for one. It spits out, when I first started using it, it spit out imagery that was on par with the greatest concept art I have seen. Where I think right there, now comparing it to modern day AI, where we've come in a year, I wouldn't say back then it was the greatest, obviously. But you have to understand, I came from the film world, and there was a lot of concept art that was really cool, but it was done really quickly. It was like photo bashing and just to get an idea, a concept across. So I think what I meant there was I wasn't comparing. I shouldn't have said that AI was as good as the greatest concept artist. I should say it was as good as a lot of concept work that I had seen in the film industry, and referring not to the very precise concept work that is done and taken a long time to develop looks and stuff, but the very quick stuff. Sometimes there'll be concept work done for a film, and they have the really broad and very precise artwork that looks amazing, and then suddenly they're like, oh, we need to have this quick little scene in this area. Can you give us a look and a feel that really tells that, and it'll be like just bashed together and loose and gestural, I guess, is the best. And I think that's the concept work I'm comparing it to here.
I'm coming from is I've seen quite a few revolutionary, and I've been highly involved in these very pivotal revolutionary moments. In the late 80s, early 90s, I got into competitive snowboarding. Huge transition. Everyone thought, this is going to destroy the ski industry. Another thing is when I graduated college, I was looking to become a traditional animator. The year I graduated from college, the very first Toy Story came out. And overnight, suddenly all the skills I had built drawing, I thought were gone. Computers are now going to do the work, and we're going to have more technicians than animators and artists. Well, let's see,
all this stuff is still true.
When we went from film photography to digital photography, everyone thought that was going to just destroy the industry. And now AI is on it, and AI is huge. And so you're writing in a text prompt, and basically you're spinning a beautiful image of what you're describing. I mean, this is going to be a huge disruptor. It's going to be like on the scale of Netflix, Amazon.
I think when I made it also, I don't know if we were seeing as much pushback from the artist community about AI. We'll see. Maybe I discuss that.
This is going to shake up the industry. All right, I got more tires to do. Okay. We were one industry that could never be replaced by a computer. Yes, we used computers, but we couldn't be replaced because the one thing that computers couldn't do was think creatively.
This was a popular thing in the entertainment industry and everything. Artists take a bad rap for spending money on an art education. And especially when I moved back to the East Coast and kind of got into a community that wasn't surrounded by artists, it was more tradespeople and things like that. I know there are people that say, oh my God, I would never let my kid get a fine arts degree, a degree in painting. That's the silliest thing ever. They'll never make any money with that. It's a waste of money. So for decades, there was this pushback, and you would hear it in the industry is like, yeah, we've got the smartest degrees out there because computers will never replace the creative mind. Creativity will not. And little did we know that, hey, that was the first thing to go.
I started using the AI art generators. Man, did I jump it. I banged out hundreds, thousands of images really quick. It was addicting using these AI art generators. They're run in the cloud, so I can run it off of my phone. I can send stuff out and get images back from my phone. So now I find that I'm spending a lot less time on social media because now I'm trying to create imagery and challenge my mind and come up with creative ideas, which I think is good. I think it's a much better place than social media.
I don't know if AI has fixed looking back, and it's almost given me more to post. I don't know if I fixed my social media issues.
So I enjoy that I'm actually doing something with my phone and my downtime that is more of a creative exercise. After I created all this imagery, after like the first week, I kind of had like an AI hangover. And if you start playing with it, you may go through the same thing because you're now executing on all of the ideas that you had stored up, and it's spitting it out so quickly and satisfying the need to create this imagery that used to be like a trip to Vermont during fall. Now I'm spitting out hundreds of images that are fantastic. I'm spitting it out, and so I'm jumping onto the next idea so fast that I kind of drained myself of ideas. After the first week, I'm sitting there like, oh my God, like I got nothing, like what else can I do with this? I've explored everything and I got great results, and I don't know where to go with it. My interest in photography and editing and all this other stuff really fell off. But that happens when anything new and shiny is in front of you. I'm all in. Like, okay, everything else falls off and I'm all in. Am I stopping photography? No. But I didn't have I stopped photography? No, but I don't go out shooting like I used to. I used to rack up tons of images and, would be shooting all the time. And I don't. I haven't stopped. And I do love photography. It's just AI has really taken over and fulfilled a lot of my creativity and just the need to kind of be in front of this interest at all to go touch my camera. I had an interest to go hop in front of the computer and create this stuff. And that's really cool. And I was also using, when you're creating prompts and everything, I'm using photographic terms and the skill set that I developed. I think everyone goes through it. It's like, oh my God, AI. And then you kind of crash from it. And your self-worth, you kind of feel like crap. You feel like shit. And that's when you really start to think about AI and where it's going, what it's doing, and what to expect from it. And see where it goes. It's developing very rapidly right now. That's one thing I have to say is, and it's not just the front ends, the Mid-Journey, Stable Diffusion, DALL-E, there's also AI running that you can dig up on Google Colab that will do phenomenal things. AI that will fix portraits, upscaling, noise reduction, and things that are much more powerful than what we see the mainstream photo editors giving us. You're going to be shocked at what tools are out there. Funny, I used to, at this time, I was very much into, scraping through the Google Collabs and stuff and seeing, there were noise reductions, there were image enlargers, face reconstruction, all these little bits and pieces that now have been pretty much brought in under the hood for a lot of art. This was a time where faces were all janky and stuff inside of Mid-Journey. So now we don't really have that need for facial reconstruction stuff. Since then, Photoshop has added AI noise reduction, which is Photoshop and Lightroom both put it in. And it's AI noise reduction. It's ridiculous. And so you don't have to go to Collab. But it was neat because at this time, Collab was just kind of like, hey, the big software companies can't get these into their application until they hit their release cycle and it gets tested thoroughly. But the Collab could like throw it out and you could get it just as like a standalone thing. And it was fun. It was an exciting moment. I've kind of stuck with the Mid-Journey and got away from Stable Diffusion and all this, mostly because I work on a Mac, so I couldn't run it locally, which bothered me. And it's just where I've invested is Mid-Journey. And I also, obviously, having a studio and a design company, I have Photoshop or Adobe Access, so that I pay for that. And, I don't want to have 10,000 subscriptions for, renting GPUs and all this. And but the fact that we don't have to wait for another iteration of our software to hopefully give us one of these tools, you can go out there and find independent tools that are phenomenal and are free. It's exciting. It's scary. But Pandora's box is open. So hold on to your hats because it's going to be a bumpy ride.
True.
This can change us in a way where we're not the creators anymore. We're more of harvesters. We're farmers. We're farming images. There's times when we're really creative, and then there's times where we're not, and that's when we get really frustrated as artists. And I've been able to use AI as almost a creative thermometer. Like I can tell, like if I look at my results of like what I'm getting back from the AI, and they're all similar and similar theme, similar look. You know, I feel like that coincides with me not being in a very creative headspace. When it hits Photoshop and Lightroom as hard as I think it is, or Adobe will add a whole new app. I mean, this is going to change everything. This. All right, so I was kind of right there. You know, Adobe adding a whole new app. We got Adobe Express online, and that has some phenomenal AI stuff in it. But they are still more prominently they're working obviously on their Photoshop and Lightroom, and so I give me a point there. It's going to. I mean, the first thing I see that really getting kicked in the balls by this is going to be stock photography, stock imagery, because, you know, it's amazing. And the tools that are going to come up. I mean, I sell one of my incomes is stock video. I haven't added to my library in a long time, but I'm surprised I'm still selling stock video. Like, it's still moving. And, you know, I use this program, Black Box, that puts my stock video out to all the different stock services, but I still get sales from it, which I'm surprised. But I guess, to be honest, that stock video and video isn't far from where I think we got another 2-3 years before our video is, you know, you can create an image in Midjourney or Stable Diffusion or whatever, and you can get very photorealistic. The stuff that will fool the, you know, common non-pixel peeping community. We are far from that with video. You know, video is still, it's amazing the nuances that humans can pick up on for inaccuracies when we're looking at video. And we are far. I would say, I'm going to say 2 years before we're going to be able to create video clips that are hyper realistic, fully AI. But I could be wrong. I'm kind of just looking at the pace of it. Maybe there'll be a vertical, you know, maybe the development will shoot up. But right now, I'm not seeing it. In the next few years, we're going to have noise reduction that is ridiculous. I mean, we'll be able to run our photographs through, and there will be zero noise. It will look hyper realistic. It's going to be as clean and crisp as a Pixar rendering. I'm not saying that it'll look like a Pixar. It'll look ridiculously realistic, but it's going to have that crispness and lack of grain and upscaling imagery. Photoshop, Lightroom, they put in the AI noise reduction, and it is ridiculous. And I'm sure they can even develop it further. It's really good. If you crank it up too far, it gets a little soft on the details, but it's amazing. And, you know, it can take photos from, basically what that's doing is, you know, now, do you need a camera of 5,000? Jesus, you know, what do I got here? Where are my cameras? Oh, they're over here. I got to pause. Oh, all right. So, I'm going to readjust there. Oof. All right. So, these right here, these are 1DXs purchased for, one's a Mark II, one's a Mark I, but respectively in their time, they were both purchased for about $7,000 each, $8,000 each, and take the batteries out of them. And the reason, which one is this? This is the original 1DX. Here's the Mark II, and I'm shooting on an R5 right now. So I bought these. I had my photography business going, still do, but this was purchased because it shot so well in low light. When you're shooting a wedding and stuff in like a dark rustic cavern from the 1600s, whatever, out here in New England, and you're basically shooting by candlelight, it's when it's really dark, that's when you get all that digital noise. And these were bought for the performance of no digital noise. Anyway, do you need to buy this now? Do you need a ridiculous low light performer now that AI can remove the noise? I don't know. I
That's a tricky one. You know, now, like, what is this going to do to the camera industry? They got that, and Adobe just released, is it lens blur? So you can make your images that are shot on an iPhone, and I know iPhone has bokeh and all this, but Adobe did it better. And now you can put lens blur in there, and you can have a nice soft image or background, and you can make your, $300 lens pretty much look like, with a little bit of AI magic, you can make your $300 lens look like a $1,500 lens. You can make your $8,000 camera body obsolete, Now you can go, you want to put a little bit of time into it, you can take your iPhone and probably match the quality image if you were careful. But anyway, that's just don't. I love these cameras. I do. Things are changing.
Is going to be huge. And how's that going to affect camera manufacturers? Are they going to need to keep pushing, 100, 200 megapixel cameras? Or are we going to be good?
True.
Hey, maybe we go back to 12 megapixel cameras and let the software up-res everything. We're also, there's going to be relighting that is very depth accurate.
I wasn't DaVinci. I don't use DaVinci Resolve, but I feel like they were pushing, and I don't know if it's AI based, but they had a relighting tool that people seem to really like. So that's kind of popped up since I made this.
Seen some stuff just yesterday where I think Google is doing it, where you can take a photograph and fly into it as a video and not stop. The AI will keep generating, I'm going to say landscape, but the environment. It's going to keep generating an environment as far as you want to go, and you can swing your camera around in any direction, and it's crazy. Now, the stuff I've seen about doing that,
it was kind of like, I'm sure they're doing something with it, but I remember that tool, and honestly, I haven't followed up on it, and it hasn't really hit the news cycles as progressing. I'm sure that technology is built into other things that Google is doing.
It's not looking very realistic now at this moment, but there's in development like this, there's a common saying that says, you don't look at the paper that you're working on right now. Think about the paper that's 3 papers down the road. And that's where the development's going to be. It's crazy stuff. All right, I already did that third tire. I had to replace it last week. So that's good. I'm going to go back inside. All right, so big questions with this are, is AI easy? And if you're just throwing in random terms and kind of look at it like, it's almost like a search engine. You throw
my audio got better.
Random terms and seeing what's spit back. And it's like the early days of a search engine, and you'll get amazing imagery. If you're trying to direct a look, then it's more challenging and you have to dig a little deeper, and it can be complicated. The other thing, I can duplicate styles. So you can punch in like, hey, I want a picture of mountain with some deer at it, and I want it in the style of Albert Bierstadt, and bam. So if you're just randomly throwing things and testing the waters, it is very impressive, and it's amazing, and you feel it can create anything.
I kind of feel like this is where progress is kind of evened out, is being able to direct this stuff. And obviously we've had conversations on this channel when we went to 5.2 and Midjourney's understanding of prompts and styles. And, we've kind of hit this, we got to push through this. We got a barrier ahead of us. And we do need to be able to direct our images better.
And you start to direct it and try to get your vision out of it, it gets more challenging. But you never have complete control. Like, you always have to be open to the fact that the AI is going to take some
creative control. So saying it's easy or hard is a challenging question. Where it needs to go. What do we need for this to be?
This is the good stuff.
Just amazing and more frightening at the same time. One of the things is we need it to be directable. We need to be able to direct it, and on a macro and micro level. Right now, I think we're directing more on a macro level. We need more options for private use that isn't public. We need copyright is a huge deal with this.
Midjourney, you know, when you get up to the higher tiers, they did get into the more, I think, rendering now, like you're on stealth mode and stuff. So that was addressed.
Now, AI art in this country cannot be copywritten. It needs to kind of take the same path like Photoshop did, where, you know, the next big thing is you're going to be able to direct it, and then it's got to become non-destructive.
That fence has been tested a lot, the whole copyright thing. I actually don't know where it stands right now. I've heard of different cases where it all depends with how much user interaction has happened, how much post-processing, how much. I don't see just typing in a prompt, getting an image, and running 100% with that image and being able to copyright it ever going to happen. I think it's going to be this weird. It's going to create this weird legal conundrum where you're going to have to figure out how much input came from you to actually acquire a copyright on image.
We need to be able to create continuity. Right now, it's very difficult to create a character and reuse that same character through multiple imagery. Are these?
Yeah, that's still an issue, especially in the Midjourney community. But I see other things in Stable Diffusion and techniques where people are able to kind of run and there are tricks here and there, but I always feel like it's trying to hack the system. And when people claim that they've gotten this is how to do continuity in Midjourney or consistent characters with multiple you get close, but you don't get the actual, like, it's never 100%. This is the same character to this. It's so that's something we definitely need, and I'm sure it's coming.
One of the things for photographers, not necessarily. This is more, you know, this goes back to my days working in the film industry and what we would have wanted in production. As far as photography, I mean, we're always looking for image enhancing, and I think tools like, you know, we already have really cool sky replacement and stuff. I think that's going to become even more integrated. You know, it's really scary because now people are going to be like, well, I know there's people that right now don't crop a photo because they feel that's not authentic to photography. This is going to upset them. This is going to upset a lot of people. But my feeling is, hey, this is here. Pandora's box is open. When big disruptors hit industries like this, it's a great time to make fast money. That being said, you know, this is kind of an open discussion. If you guys want to hear more about AI and all that, put it in the comments. All right. Well, that's it for me, Score. Glad to be back. I'm going to make more videos. Fall's coming, so I'm going to be doing some Vermont videos. I'm looking forward to it.
I didn't do any.
Got to get used to being back on camera. All right.
Maybe I'm not photographing anymore.
All right. Thanks for joining me. It was good looking back and kind of seeing, you know, my perspective of what AI was a year ago. Interesting stuff. I think I need to do another video and kind of forecast what I see in the next year. I do have some ideas. There are some places where AI went a lot further than I thought it would. That didn't touch. I mean, video production. Adobe Premiere now with AI text. What is it? Text to editing stuff. And it goes through and takes silences and the ums and all that. The audio, you know, AI cleaning up audio, amazing stuff. There's what else did we get this year? I mean, there was that was it a Drake song or something? Is that what the kids are listening to? No, I'm kidding. There's a Drake song that was created out of the blue, and was very viral, and kind of taking people's voices and recreating them or creating new songs with them. Just it's crazy stuff I didn't even catch. I do have some ideas. I'm gonna do a video on where I think the next year is gonna take us, because I got some ideas. I do. And maybe it's wishful thinking, but hey, I love this. I love looking back and seeing what my perspective was. I'd say I was pretty on par. What I didn't touch on was the whole artist rebellion with AI and all that. And last week they had something now when you post your videos. Oh, what is it called? It's you can poison the AI database by embedding it with this stuff. Silly. It's I get it. I get it. But anyway, all right. I hope you like this video. I liked doing it. I've been waiting a long time to do it. So give me a thumbs up. Comment below. What did you think? Were you on target? Did you think I was on target? And subscribe to the channel. Hey, we are so close to 4,000 watch hours. That's crazy. All right. Until the next one. Oh, and happy Halloween.